Hello, good morning. It is Thursday, November 14th, 2019. We are coming to you live from a box truck in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. This evening, I will be commentating alongside Matt Hasselbeck, Adam Amin, Molly McGrath on the sidelines. UNC Tar Heels travel from North Carolina to the Steel City to take on the University of Pittsburgh in front of 700 to 800 fans at Heinz Field. The reason why that's going to be such a low-capacitated crowd is because the Pittsburgh Steelers are taking on their nemesis, their rival, the AFC North Cleveland Browns this evening. We'll break down all of that. We'll also talk about the 17-game season that's coming for the NFL. I didn't want to say I told you so, but I feel like we told you so. Also told you that there's a chance that Cam Newton should be a Chicago Bear. Cam Newton has come out and said, hey, I'd be a part of that if they're looking for it. Cam Newton could potentially rebirth himself, reprove himself, and change the narrative of the Chicago Bears from being a colossal failure on the offensive side of the ball.
Come on.
Ike Swaggin U joins us. Ike Taylor joins us. We got a lot to talk about, and I can't wait to get to it. Evan Foxy, play some Chase Rice.
It's the perfect occasion for a little vacation from the heart of the nation. Not a young medication, 2 hours of magic. Let's give it a go. Ladies and gents, it's the Pat McAfee Show. It's the Pat McAfee Show.
Yes, it is, Chase Rice. I appreciate you for your beautiful voice and your beautiful face. He's on tour right now. If he's in your town, go check him out. I don't think he won any CMAs last night, which is a damn shame.
Come on.
Come on. Joining me in the box truck, at Nick Moroto. How you doing, Nick?
Good, buddy. Got my teeth kicked in at the casino last night. But we're moving on. It's a big day for the city of Pittsburgh. We've got 2 games, 2 football games to look forward to tonight.
That's right. Nick is back home here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Last night he could have won at the casino, decided not to the last couple hands. That's on him, not on the casino. Almost went out of there a big winner. Speaking of big winner, Evan Foxy, how's it going? Ty Schmidt took money out of that casino last night.
Yes, sir. And also we saw Elton John last night. Incredible live concert.
A lot of people don't think about this, but whenever you get a chance to see Elton John, you do it. Last night, the Elton John concert right here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which has been sold out for 2 years. With our friends at SeatGeek 2 Taps, we got some of the best seats in the entire house. And if you get a chance to see Elton John, you should see him.
You gotta do it. Oh, yeah.
It was a hell of a show, Fox.
It was so good. It felt like we were there for maybe like 5 minutes. That's how good the show was.
Because it flew by so fast.
So
Flies are
fast.
having fun.
I don't even remember hearing him sing, to be honest with you, but it's because he has the voice of an angel. And it's almost like, is that God singing or is that Elton John?
It's tough to, mix the two up. I mean,
Decipher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Ty Schmidt won a bunch of money at the casino last night.
Yeah, same deal, though. I mean, you're up big time. You want to really, kick the casino right in the mouth, and then you lose $100, right out the door. So it could have been a lot better, but hey, still winners.
You also drank a bottle of wine.
Yeah, I'm not really a wine guy per se. Everyone who drinks wine knows that every glass of wine tastes the exact same, no matter, what price it is. But, hey, when in Rome, we were at a nice Italian restaurant. Why not? Bottle of wine sitting on the table. I'm going to drink it.
Shout out to Crafton, Pennsylvania, the home of Bill Carr. There's a guy named Joe Serafino there who runs a restaurant called Serafino's. I've never been there before. I've lived in this Pittsburgh for 18 years of my life. Never been. Incredible. You get a chance to go, it's like you're walking into old Joe's living room and kitchen.
Yep.
And it was very, very good food. Zito actually took home 4 pallets of food. He decided not to eat any of it. He's had a rough morning thus far with the old brain. Zito, how you feeling?
I lost my fastball.
Whoa.
Can't lose your fastball, especially when you don't have any other pitch.
I know. I have a screwball, but it ain't working today either. I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
There's a shrimp and the veal.
Hey, don't be bragging about how good your life is. I mean, Jesus.
Hey, when Joe makes you veal, you talk about it.
Hey, Joe Serafino, good guy. Check out Serafino's. I mean, he was loud. He was yelling at people from the kitchen. I mean, it was just a magical moment in there. I would recommend everybody to go eat there. We got to eat there last night. Then we got a chance to meet up with Nick and his family. It was a nice little homecoming last night.
It was.
Saw Haddlebag, saw CFO Phil. I mean, it was a great evening in Pittsburgh last night, as it's going to be this evening as the North Carolina Tar Heels take on the University of Pittsburgh Panthers football team from Heinz Field. That's on ESPN. On NFL Network and on Fox, there's a game where the Pittsburgh Steelers are traveling to play Baker Mayfield, Freddie Kitchens, and the Cleveland Browns. Now, this is a game that a lot of people are going to wonder about because the Steelers have been getting some wins there with nobody. They lose old Ben Roethlisberger to a baseball injury. Their defensive line hurts Jacoby Brissett, MVP candidate, with incredible power and force. They've been dominant on the defensive side of the ball with a guy named Minka Fitzpatrick, which people are calling him Fitzburgh.
Hell yeah.
That's a pretty cute little thing, actually. You should get the shirt now. Fitzburgh, Fitzburgh. The man has like 17 touchdowns already. He's playing safety. It's very next level what he's been able to do. Miami Dolphins, who are not trying to lose at all, traded him away to the Pittsburgh Steelers. After Roethlisberger got hurt, nobody knew what was going to happen. This Cleveland Browns team, though, people have been talking. Is Freddie Kitchens going to be working in the kitchen in the Cleveland Browns organization next week, or is he going to be head coach of the team next week? They lose here against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think there's going to be a lot of questions. I got sent a message this morning from CFO Phil, who's a big-time Pittsburgh Steelers fan. He said, history says that tonight may be problematic for Freddie Kitchens. Now, this came from Trey Wingo tweet. Cleveland hosts the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight. The last 6 Browns coaches have all been fired after a Steelers game. For those of you that don't know, as soon as you pop out of a birth canal in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, you are told through your entire life that Cleveland is this hellaciously terrible city.
Stinks.
Place stinks. You don't like the Browns. Everybody hates the Browns. Why would you like the Browns? It's your entire childhood. You worship Cordell Stewart. You worship Jerome Bettis, Troy Polamalu, all these things. Bill Carr from Crafton. And you're taught that over in Cleveland, there's just a despicable franchise called the Cleveland Browns. When the Cleveland Browns decided to leave Cleveland and go to Baltimore, there was a celebration in Pittsburgh about it. They're so bad, their team just left the city. Like, it was a big deal in Pittsburgh. And I assume in Cleveland, I didn't get born there, okay? I was not born there, so I don't know how it is. I would assume in Cleveland it's the same way for Pittsburgh. I mean, it's relatively close, been in the same division for a long time. They leave, go to Baltimore, another team starts back up there, and I think it just picked up right where it left off. Pittsburgh people were trying to spin the narrative that whenever the Browns left and went to Baltimore, that Browns fans should become Steelers fans because our team would never leave you. Like, just troll. Like, there is a literal, like, that's a real thing. And in the Browns organization, they feel that. It's no wonder that the last 6 coaches to be fired have happened after Steelers games. In the Cleveland Browns organization, we're not losing to this stupid team anymore. They fired Hugh Jackson after a Pittsburgh Steelers game. They fired Mike Pettin after a Pittsburgh Steelers game. Rob Chudzinski, good guy, fired after a Steelers game. Pat Shermer, Eric Mangini, Romeo Crennel, the list goes on and on. You lose from them stupid Yinzers with the 3 rivers in their city. They don't even make steel that much anymore. They're still called the Steelers in the Steel City. You lose to them, you're getting the hell out of here. That could happen tonight for Freddie Kitchens, I think. Freddie Kitchens, his first year head coaching, had high expectations, man. The whole world was talking about the Cleveland Browns. This team is going to light up the AFC. This team is going to be dominant in the AFC North. This team is going to revolutionize football. They had the division right, just not the team. The Ravens are doing that. The Cleveland Browns have been nothing but a stink fest. Rex Ryan, after week 2, said he thought Baker Mayfield was overrated as hell. I said, whoa, that thing went viral. I don't know if Baker Mayfield's overrated or not. I know he makes bad decisions. You ever see where he decides to sit in his house in comparison to his kitchen? You see those commercials? That Jumbotron is 700 yards long. Why is he choosing to sit 200 yards away from his kitchen? A lot of bad decisions being made on and off the field for Baker Mayfield. But is that a coaching problem or is that a Baker Mayfield problem? Odell Beckham Jr. is there, one of the most explosive wide receivers to ever play football. He's not getting the ball a lot until last week. Is that Odell Beckham Jr.'s fault, Baker Mayfield's fault, or Freddie Kitchens' fault? You could see how all of this falls on Freddie Kitchens' desk. Most penalized team in documented history. Freddie Kitchens' fault, probably. Yes, players have to stop holding and jumping off sides and all these other things, but that all comes from the top down. The team reflects the personality of the coach. And Freddie Kitchens thus far, I'm not saying he can't turn it around tonight with a big win against the Steelers, which would endear himself to Cleveland even more if you beat Pittsburgh. But it feels like his days are numbered. And if you lose to Mason Rudolph, who is hot right now.
Very hot.
Don't let Mason Rudolph get hot.
No.
He'll play without a face mask He'll play with a face mask. He'll break a cart so he can walk off the field. Mason Rudolph, don't let him get hot. If they win tonight, look for a potential ass-kicking of Freddie Kitchens right out the door in Cleveland tomorrow.
This is a huge game, more so for the Browns, I think, because if they win this game tonight, it puts them back into the wild card picture in the AFC. And like you said, Freddie Kitchens, the way of the world has to be on this guy's shoulders right now. If they get blown out tonight, you could see him get the axe.
Well, let's assume Mason Rudolph's not going to blow anybody out. I mean, I like Mason Rudolph.
Oh, no.
If he goes down and Duck comes in.
If Ducky Hodges...
If Duck comes in, maybe Minka messes around, gets 2 more TDs tonight. Who knows?
I think if the Steelers win tonight, it's going to be a tough day in Cleveland tomorrow. That Trey Wingo tweet, though, pretty interesting. Pretty intriguing to read there. That hatred for Pittsburgh is the same in Cleveland as the hatred for Cleveland is in Pittsburgh. I like that. I actually like that a lot, by the way. I'm a big fan of that.
Also, just what says that he is going to turn it around? Like, they kind of have a small window now, especially when you don't perform this way. Like, guys are going to want to start getting out of there. So
they're already talking about Odell Beckham being trade bait at the end of the year.
Exactly. I mean, I think if anything, this season has proved to us that when you have a head coach, you need to make sure that he's not more concerned what the special item is at Golden Corral after the game than winning the football game.
Well, you know what the good news is? If it doesn't happen tonight, they play each other again in 2 weeks, so there's another chance.
There we go.
Hey.
I don't like whenever teams play that close.
It does seem weird, doesn't it?
It happens on a pretty regular basis, and I think the schedule makers have a tough job, but I don't like whenever you have people that close, especially with how smart football players are in the NFL. If you give them, it's basically just playing them in back-to-back weeks. I mean, it's probably a lot easier for coaches and for players and stuff like that. But for me, I like to see teams transform before they take on the opponent again. I like to see them we're a different team than when you played us before. But it's obviously not possible with the way schedules have to be made and things like that. But I don't enjoy the back-to-back things because I like seeing a team kind of rebound from their mistakes, get better, and then, we'll see you next time. Right, we'll see you next time. Now they're going to basically be playing the same team if it's 2 weeks in advance, as opposed to a team that has learned from their mistakes and got better. Personally,
this one was especially odd because all the hype the Browns had coming into the season, you would have thought you would got a primetime matchup, Steelers-Browns, way earlier in the year to kick off the season almost. First 2 weeks, you would have thought.
Oh, the schedule makers knew Freddie Kitchens was going to stink.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know.
Also, if they can flex games into Sunday Night Football, why can't they just flex games?
No, can't do it.
Why not?
Thursday you can't do it because players and teams have to prepare for that.
No,
right?
but I'm saying so they still play on Thursday, I guess. But why not? You see that you have the Browns again in 2 weeks. Why can't they just flip it around and have them play 3 weeks later instead of almost back to back?
I have no idea. I have no clue.
Something to think about.
Well, the schedule makers' lives are about to get harder. It's not about to get easier. The schedule makers have a real talent, by the way, the ability to set up games and have everybody play the right people and all that stuff. Do they get it wrong? I think so. For instance, I think the ACC got this one wrong tonight. Now, I think they scheduled the game before the NFL announced it, but still, this is a tough look. They should have probably tried to get out of this because there is a direct correlation between University of Pittsburgh fans and Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and then it's not just a Pittsburgh Steelers game against some team. It's against the Cleveland Browns. 27 over-under population of the stadium tonight. Not counting myself. Not counting the band. Not counting the band, the band's parents, the dance team, the cheerleaders, their parents. Not counting the production crew.
Great dance team at Pitt, by the way.
What do you mean? Did you just shoot your shot right here? What was that?
No, I'm 33 years old. Let's have some respect for the dance team. CFO Phil's wife, big-time member of the dance team.
Whoa! Whoa!
What are you woeing about?
I don't know.
You having a heart attack?
No, heart's
Sugar
actually good
spike?
today. I have my apple juice.
Hey, you've had a rough morning with your brain. I mean, it's been a rough day, but now you got your apple juice. Maybe it'll be better. Hiring the right person takes a lot of time. And sometimes you don't get it right.
What do you mean?
But that time that you could potentially get something wrong is no longer an issue when it comes to the hiring process. Also, know that you're not going to miss any more thanks to one company and one company alone. Urgency can be your enemy when it comes to finding candidates that are truly meant for your business. That's why LinkedIn is the best place to post your job. LinkedIn Jobs screens candidates with the hard and soft skills you're looking for so you can hire the right person fast. What did you say, Zito?
What do you mean?
By soft skills? Yeah, I knew that's what you asked.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the soft skills are things like collaboration, creativity, adaptability. LinkedIn looks beyond the work skills and puts your job post in front of qualified candidates who match your business requirements perfectly, Zito.
Yep, it is.
That's how LinkedIn makes sure your job post is seen by the people you want to hire. People with the skills, qualifications, and other interests that will help you grow your business. It's no wonder a person is hired every 8 seconds with our friends at LinkedIn, and why companies have rated LinkedIn Jobs the #1 hiring platform for delivery quality hires. Wow. Number one? Hey! Find the right person for your business today with LinkedIn Jobs. You can pay who you want and get the first $50 off. Just visit linkedin.com/Pat. Again, that's linkedin.com/PAT to get $50 off your first job post. Terms and conditions obviously apply. If you're listening in the Pittsburgh or Pennsylvania area or in Indiana, this defense has been leading Pittsburgh to victories. They've been scoring touchdowns on a regular basis. FanDuel has upped the odds for a defensive touchdown by the Pittsburgh Steelers tonight to plus 1,200.
Ooh,
Baker Mayfield's going to be throwing the ball around. It's going to be a little chilly.
let's go.
Going to be over there in Cleveland. That defense knows they got to step up. Pittsburgh hates Cleveland. I think that seems like a pretty smart bet. Plus 1,200 is just good odds. Am I guaranteeing it? No. But I think this is a smart thing to throw your cash at and go, hey, go grow for me, cuz. Go grow for me, cash. FanDuel, use promo code McAfee, and let's do this. Plus 1,200. We'll be back on the other side. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. What's the name of this song, Frank?
Nashville Stomp.
Nashville's getting its name thrown in everything. Every wing you hear is that little abrupt stop there on the music. Nice fade in, fade out, boys.
Don't look at me.
Oh, that was on Nick?
We're working on it.
You just hit the pause button. There's no way to fade out when
Well,
you
you know,
hit the
it's
pause
tough.
button.
Somebody's having a rough morning.
It's tough.
Fastball's back.
I'm going to smack him in the mouth. Jay does a quick fade. Ty does a little bit slower fade, so it's on me. I got to adjust.
Oh, so now Jay's getting a shot.
Whoa,
Jay is in
whoa.
Indianapolis right now trying to make new music, and all of a sudden he's just taking boom, boom, shrapnel.
I like the quick fade. I got used to it.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. Although we are sometimes a music show, we're also a sports show. If you're listening to the first time, welcome aboard. You're listening to a very cultured man who has seen Elton John live in person. Foxy, you can attest to that.
Incredible show. One of the best.
It was like his piano was gliding.
It was actually. He was floating during the show.
Yeah. Very sad song whenever we came in, though, by the way. It was a very emotional arena when we walked in there just full of energy.
Well, like you
Elton
said-
John! And everybody's like, this ass needs to keep it down. It was a rough moment. Excited to see Elton John. Also, this is what you call a transition by a professional host. Excited to see how Colin Kaepernick does on Saturday. The entire conversation about Colin Kaepernick has been, he's not good enough. He's too big of a distraction. He doesn't care about football. Okay, so let's just go ahead and knock all three of those out in one clean swoop. He's not good enough. If he goes out and balls out on Saturday on short notice for a workout that he said he's been preparing for 3 years, if he balls out, okay, so he is good enough. He's a distraction. Well, that's going to be no matter where he goes. Just like Tim Tebow was a distraction, just like Johnny Manziel was a distraction, just like all these, a distraction is something in the NFL that people try to avoid as much as possible. Be who you can afford to be is a statement that gets said all the time. Tim Tebow wasn't getting jobs because he was a backup quarterback level talent. And anytime he came somewhere, Tebow mania came. Was that Tebow's fault? No, not Tim Tebow's fault. Tim Tebow, well, I mean, kind of. I mean, I feel like Tim Tebow did not shy away from it.
He didn't help himself at all.
Yeah, he didn't shy away from it. But anything Tim Tebow did back in the day, and I guess currently anytime he does anything, there was a firestorm around him. Goes to the Jets, firestorm. Goes to the Patriots even. With Tom Brady, greatest player of all time, greatest coach of all time. There's still Tebow mania. So teams said, listen, we don't want our backup quarterback bringing this much distraction to a team because it's already hard enough to win a football game in the NFL. We don't need all this other BS. We don't need our players answering questions about Tim Tebow whenever they should be focusing on defense and offense, and Tim Tebow isn't even going to play. That's what everybody said about Tim Tebow. Now, right, wrong, or indifferent, that's just how the NFL olds feel about it. It's hard to win a game. Why would you add more distractions to a locker room? Johnny Manziel, obviously. Obviously, same thing. Now, granted, I think Tebow was a better quarterback in the NFL than Johnny Manziel.
I'd agree.
That is a wild statement to make publicly, and I just did
Won
that.
a playoff game.
Oh, yeah.
Completed one pass, won a playoff game.
Yeah.
That was a big-time slant. By the way, perfectly tossed to Demarius Smith.
Thomas.
Yep, you get it. Demarius Thomas, touchdown. See you later. Steelers go home.
How dare
beat
you guys
by Tim Tebow.
talk about this with Ike Taylor coming on the show.
I agree. We shouldn't have brought it up. It was just a talk about distractions. Colin Kaepernick took a stand for something that, to be honest, needed to be stood up for. A conversation had to happen. There was such a gap in our society and views between how things were going and how things weren't going for different people. Colin Kaepernick takes a knee. It becomes the topic of conversation for an entire couple years. He becomes the most influential man in sports because of this. He generates a conversation starter by taking a knee during the national anthem that got spun in two polar opposite PR directions and became him becoming the most polarizing figure in sports while also being one of the most influential humans walking. Generated a conversation to take care of our struggling communities that we have in America. How African Americans are being treated in America. Generated a lot of money from the Players Coalition Fund that he saw none of, but he helped generate, helped create this. Made a positive difference in the world through doing something that a lot of people hated to see. That's a tough thing to do as a human. Now, granted, stand for something, even if you have to sacrifice everything, happened to Colin Kaepernick. The NFL got him out of there. He got cut. Now, granted, his last couple games as a quarterback in the NFL were not great, which has always been what people say that hate Colin Kaepernick. They're like, well, he wasn't even good at quarterback. He has to be better than this guy, Jeff Driscoll. He has to be better than this guy. Who's the guy playing Falk? He has to be better than that guy. That conversation has been said over and over and over again. And I would assume those people were accurate. He did have to be better than them, but he also brought a big-time distraction. And NFL teams that are looking and playing with bad quarterbacks don't need another distraction brought. So although he changed the world and he helped a lot of people out, the NFL said, we are done with this. Even though we're going to put money into a coalition, we're going to put money into communities, we're done with this. So now, 3 years later, after a lot of things have happened, lawsuits, libel, slander, you name it, things have been said, a workout happens. And all anybody is saying, not anybody, but a lot of people are saying, no, this is just a PR stunt. This is just a PR stunt. I don't know why the NFL would do a PR stunt a week before Thanksgiving, 3 years after something, so I don't fully understand that. I think what this was some teams wanted to sign Colin Kaepernick or work out Colin Kaepernick. So they called the NFL and said, hey, can we work out Colin Kaepernick, which is damning to the NFL, by the way, because I think in the NFL, if a free agent wants to be signed, you could sign a free agent. So the thought that, now this is not a factual statement, this is just my opinion, which is what I give my opinion. I think a couple teams have called the NFL saying, hey, are we allowed to work out Colin Kaepernick? We are in dire needs. You hear what these people are saying? He's better than this. He's better than this. We think he is too. Can we work him out? And the NFL is like, oh, we'll get back to you. Put a pin in it. We'll circle back. Put a pin in it. We'll circle back. So now the NFL is like, well, we've got enough requests. Let's see if we can just put a workout together. It's going to be this Saturday. Well, can we move it to another Saturday? No, Colin, this is on our terms. Can we move it to Tuesday when all the other workouts? No, Colin, this is on our terms. The NFL had to institute its power over Colin Kaepernick because it's Colin Kaepernick who's trying to get into their business. Got to remember, I've said this before, it's their sandbox. Whether you like it or not, it's their sandbox. You have to play by their rules, just the way it goes. In everything, whenever you're working for a company, you have to play by their rules. That's why you choose not to sign contracts if you don't want to play by those people's rules. So now it's said, oh, it's this PR fodder. This is just a load of malarkey, a lot of people are saying. Well, if I'm Colin Kaepernick and I really want to get back in the NFL, which has been something that people say he doesn't want to get back in the NFL. He just wants to be a hero. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. Well, now you got a short week. Who knows if you're in game shape? And he could potentially be on a roster by next week. He said he expects to see NFL coaches and GMs there. That's not going to happen. Saturday's a rough day to get coaches and GMs in a place in the middle of the season. Maybe a couple bye weeks. Maybe they'll be able to show up. But it's going to be filmed for every other team. There's going to be a lot of interested people. People that you don't think could potentially be interested. They're going to want to see it just to see what Colin Kaepernick. There was people that came and worked me out that weren't looking for me. They just wanted to see what I was whenever I go into the league. You work out players all the time. You could have the 10th pick in the draft, but you want to go see and talk to the number 1 overall pick that you know. And it's like, well, why are you doing this? Well, it's because I just want to learn more about him so when we play him, I know more about him. Mm-hmm. It's just something that the NFL does. Everybody's going to watch this Colin Kaepernick workout tape. Colin Kaepernick knows that, and I hope he shows up and shows out. I hope he gets on a team, and I hope we can put all the conversation to rest about something that generated good for the world, caused quite a ratings situation. And if we can make this all come full circle and move forward, Colin Kaepernick ends the season on a team. Maybe he does great, gets re-signed. Maybe he does and he decides he doesn't want to do it anymore. I think it would be good for both parties to get that done. I just hope Colin Kaepernick performs very well. Schefter's saying he doesn't know if the workout's going to happen. It's like, well, if the workout doesn't happen, Kaepernick needs to know that all the people that say, well, he doesn't want to be in the NFL, he just wants to be a distraction, like that is just going to get amped up tenfold. The NFL might be doing this strictly just to say, hey, we want to end the conversation. We want to do it right here. This is how we're doing it. If he doesn't show up, that's on him. That's not on us. That's definitely what it is. So there's no reason that Colin Kaepernick wouldn't do this because it screws his entire argument that he's wanted to be in the NFL this whole time.
Right. I have a question for you.
Yeah, buddy.
So distractions aside, what will this workout actually prove? Because I feel like people already, like he already has the physical skills. People know he can throw, he can run, but when you're playing quarterback and you haven't played for like 3 years, isn't like reading defenses and reacting to that kind of stuff, isn't that way more important than seeing him like throw slants and stuff like that?
Well, I think the big thing here is this is obviously happening for the timing of the Greg Roman, Lamar Jackson success story.
Right.
It's very interesting, right? Because people are like, well, I mean, our offense is kind of built to perform that way. We're seeing a lot of success with Baltimore. I don't think Colin Kaepernick at 30-some years old is anywhere near what Lamar Jackson is, but if he has near the same qualities, same traits, same athletic abilities, maybe we can do that offense to an extent. So I don't know how you get a good read on an RPO.
That's what I mean.
I don't know how you get a good read on something like that, but they're going to want to see him run, see if he's in shape. They're going to put him through a workout that is going to be grueling. Like, it's going to be one to see if he has any cardio, if he is in game shape at all. He said he's trained 3 years for it. They're going to prove it. I've seen teams put players through workouts. They just want to see if they can make it or not. There's a lot of like, oh, okay, let's see if you can play. And it's just, all right, we'll put you through a drill that's just sprint, 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 rest. Okay, get a breath. And you see guys just like inhale, like hands on the hips thing. And they're like, all right, we're back up. Let's go. And it's strictly to see if they could play this week if it had to happen.
Right.
Is this guy anywhere near what is it? So he's going to have to hit a cardio. There's going to be a lot of drills that are strictly just to see if he's, because you got to remember, just like the combine, the 40, is it to see your speed? Yes, 100%. But it's also your quick twitch, your get off. They measure your first 10. 3-cone drill. How quick can he flip his hips? How much can he get around? All these drills have other things. And vertical jump, yes, that's great. But how explosive is this guy? That's all it is. They're looking at their hips. Whenever they do the back pedal turn thing, they're like, all right, how stiff is this guy? All those tests might have one outcome for the most media people, but all the scouts and people are looking at it for a deeper thing. They're like, oh, he's tight in his hips. Probably not going to be able to do this. Oh, that guy runs straight up. Does that mean his hammies are tight or his back is tight? Is that, like, there are people diving into all the film. That's going to happen for this Kaepernick workout. They're going to have him do one thing, say, oh, well, this is happening. They're going to have him do another thing, oh, this is happening. And I think a big part of it's going to be cardio.
Even deeper than that, do you think they're going to look at the human element of it all, too, with him, like his body language, the way he responds to what they're asking him to do? If he turns down and now I'm not doing that, like, do you think that's going to play a factor?
Well, he's a quarterback, right? Quarterbacks have a certain swag about them to begin with, right? I mean, that's just what quarterbacks have. He's a guy who's taken a team to a Super Bowl. He's had success in the NFL. Now he's a big-time person. The humility will be something I think that will be looked for. But I'll be excited to see if any NFL quarterback who's had the success that he's had the rise that he has, how they would react in that situation. I don't know. How would I react in a situation if I was going back to work out right now? And I've done far less in the world than Colin Kaepernick. If I have some slappy telling me to do this, do that, no. Well, why don't you go push some paper, pal? Just let me kick the ball here. So it would be hard because this is an interview. This is an interview. So every answer you give is important. The way you treat the secretary at the beginning is important. The way you carry yourself, the way you do everything is important. And I assume at some point all these tapes are going to come out.
So I know there's like a rare situation, but like who runs this workout?
It depends on.
So like, do like the people who's like run the practice, whatever.
No, it's just like pro days. So there'll be coaches from different teams that normally, like a D-line coach from, let's say the Bengals will run, or like the special teams coach from the Bengals runs the kicking workout at the combine. I wasn't invited, but from what I've watched, unbelievable, by the way. Unbelievable that I wasn't invited. I watched that.
They've done good.
Yeah, both positions I would have been, but.
You're up for an award in college football.
I played in the Senior Bowl. I think I was the only player in the entire Senior Bowl that didn't get invited to the combine the year I was there.
Interesting.
It's just my life. Hey,
Bon Jovi.
that makes us tougher. That makes us be able to do a show from the back of a box truck in the middle of the Hill District in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
That's what happens. Grit, perseverance. Anyways, the special teams coach from the Bengals runs the kicking side, and all the other coaches kind of watch. It's like an agreed-upon thing. Gotcha. So, like, I assume a scout from one team will run one exercise while everybody else watches, and then they'll flip and do that. It's a gentleman's game out there during those workouts. It's actually pretty cool to watch. I hope Kaepernick does well, though. I hope he does well. I hope he gets back in the league. I hope he does good, and at the end of the year, somebody has to make a decision for him. That's what I hope happens. This has become quite a hot topic in the world. Everybody's talking about it.
You say it all the time. You don't have to get ready if you stay ready.
Hey.
So we'll see.
3 years, he said he's been training for this. We're going to find out. It'd be hard when you're signing like $100 million deals with Nike in the face of a commercial that wins an Emmy, and you're like changing the world. Like you're training, you're probably all right, I broke a little sweat. I'm in a good spot. They're going to find out on Saturday, dude. He's going to be running. They're going to want him to puke, I bet. Everybody that doesn't like Colin Kaepernick wants him to fail abysmally on Saturday. And then on a complete flip side, they're like, hey, they're screwing over Colin. They're giving him no time to prepare. It's on a Saturday. He's going to have to cancel some business plans. A lot of NFL teams there's a lot of excuses. And then if he goes out and kills, by the way, the excuses are real. These are valid excuses, but there is a lot of excuses. He goes out and kills it. Woo! This is going to be an interesting situation for the NFL. We'll be back on the other side with Ike Taylor. Ike Taylor. It's going to be a good conversation. This dude's hilarious. You're listening to the Pep.
My apologies.
Oh, God,
Jeez.
he put his mic.
Just mute my mic.
Ike Taylor's here.
Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. You're the best for listening to this or watching it. I appreciate you so much. We're live in a box truck in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Joining us now is a man that is a two-time Super Bowl champion. Two-time Super Bowl champion. Living legend, hilarious individual, and I can't wait to chat with him. Ladies and gentlemen, you can follow him on Twitter at Ike_swagginu. Very easy to market. That's a smart handle. Ike Taylor.
P-Mac.
What's up, man?
P-Mac. What's up, baby? You called me in between the workout, but once they say P-Mac, wanted your boy to come through. Your boy had to come through for the P-Mac show.
Hey, I respect and appreciate that. Speaking of you working out, you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. How do you think Colin's going to look on Saturday?
He said he been staying ready. So you just said the best. You ain't got to get ready if you've been staying ready. So the past 3 years, he said he been staying ready. So he going to get his opportunity on Saturday to prove and show people he still got it, or at least a little bit in the tank.
How come it feels like the narrative for this workout has been very negative? And yes, it could potentially be the NFL just trying to get rid of this situation completely and just a PR situation. It could be. But also, This could be a situation for Colin Kaepernick to tell everybody to shut up. Everybody said, well, he wasn't good enough. He doesn't want to be in the NFL. He's getting little to no notice. And if he shows up and balls out, I think this is good for Colin Kaepernick.
We are like, when he was playing in the league, he wasn't balling out. We are like it was just two plays from the Super Bowl, other than that loss, taking that W. We act like he wasn't some kind of Lamar Jackson before Lamar Jackson. We act like he just wasn't that guy before he left. So when he left, he still was in his prime. Like, he's better than a lot of starters right now. He's way better than a lot of backups. But we just keep acting like, because of the situation, like Colin Kaepernick wasn't good when he was playing ball, Mac.
I agree, and I think a lot of people point to his last couple games and his stats and things like that, but anybody can have a little bit of a drought. I mean, that happens to literally everybody. I'll be excited to see what he has learned, because I think since I've been away from the game a little bit, not in, I think I've learned even more about my position that I played, from punting and kicking. I think I have a whole new respect for it. I think Colin Kaepernick's break here for 3 years could have actually made him better. You rest the body, especially as a guy that took some hits and ran. I'm excited to see with little to no notice how he performs. And I think those videos will all be released, obviously, at some point.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you said it best when we started this show. If you're already in shape, you ain't got to get ready. And, you know, he's been saying he's been ready. He's been staying in shape for the past. He just wanted another opportunity. So he's going to get his opportunity come Saturday to prove himself what he can or can't do.
Hey, we're going to learn, too, man. I've seen a couple of those workouts mid-season that they give people. That is a cardio fest. They're trying to make people puke to find out if they got it or not.
They trying to break you, P-Mac. You already know what time it is.
I wouldn't be able to do it. All right. One time down, they're like, back up. I'm like, I'm going to need some time. I'm going to need a little bit of time.
Mac, you was the field goal kicker, the punter, Mac. You ain't really had to run unless somebody broke off for a touchdown. But other than that, babe, all you had to do was have them legs stretched and ready to go.
Hey, I mean, I got shook in the middle of Heinz Field by Antonio Brown. It was a rough day. I probably should have been in better shape. I compared this situation earlier with Colin Kaepernick to Tim Tebow. Tim Tebow, everywhere he went was a massive distraction, and it's either his fault or not. I think it was built in college. Everything he did was documented. It became this buzz. Tebow mania was a real thing, and I know this is a touchy subject for you, but do you think that is a?
No, it's not. Don't say that. No, it's not.
Hey, I was
just a young man, Pete Mac.
Hey, I was told by the people in the box truck when I mentioned Tebow earlier. Why would you say that with Ike Taylor coming on? I just want to let you know this is what they said. I said Ike Taylor's mentally tougher than that. I'm not worried about Ike Taylor.
Man, last time I checked, it was Demaryius Thomas who got me. Last time I checked, I played longer than both of them guys. Last time I checked, I do have 2 Super Bowls. Last time I checked, I wasn't no hype train. I was a real deal.
Let's go!
We just gonna last time check this Tebow situation. Was he a good quarterback? Yeah. Did Ike have a better career? Yeah. Did Ike win 2 Super Bowls? Yeah. Is Ike still a man? Yeah.
Does Ike think Colin Kaepernick would fit on a couple teams?
100%. It's a few teams. We're going to start with Chicago. We can start with Chicago. Like everybody been saying, Cal might go to Chicago because they feel like this might be his last go-around with the Carolina Panthers, but we can go to Chicago. Sure, we can go to Cincinnati if you want to. And if you mess around, we might got to take our butt to Cleveland. since we want to talk now, so it's a few teams that Colin Kaepernick can go to. Not if he doesn't start, but at least play.
By the way, if Colin Kaepernick comes out and says he does not want to go to the Bengals, I think everybody would be like, this doesn't mean he doesn't want to be in the NFL. It very much, he just doesn't want to be in Cincinnati. It makes sense, by the way. It makes sense he doesn't want to go there. Do you think, and we were the first people, I think, and this is, I don't want to pat ourselves on the back, but I think we were the first people to start speculating Cam Newton to Chicago. It was like immediately after Colin Allen had success, it was like, well, it's going to be hard for the team to go back to Cam now because Cam was the leader of that team. It's not Christian McCaffrey's team. Kyle Allen's just an orchestrator, game manager, or whatever. So Cam Newton was obviously on the trading block. We thought, they said no, but Chicago always made sense because he has to like reprove himself to the locker room, reprove himself to a new coaching staff, a new fan base. And for a guy that has the swagger and charisma of Cam Newton, that feels like something that could be very good for him going forward because it seemed like he lost his happiness in Carolina. Does that sound right?
Well, sometimes change is good. Sometimes a change of scenery is real good for a person. So for Cam just going to have to understand his body is breaking down, and he's going to have to be more of a student than try to be Superman. Because Superman, got a little bit of kryptonite in him right now. So Cam, at the same time, he got to know and understand that, for the past 4 or 5 years, man, his body just been breaking down over the hits he's been taking. If he can just get his IQ level up of knowing where to throw the ball, what kind of coverages the defense is running, Cam will be able to sit in the pocket and take them hits. It's the difference between sitting in the pocket and taking them hits and actually running and taking them hits. You know what I'm saying? So for Cam, I think he got the arm, he got the tools. It's just on Cam at this point in his career, he got to be more of a student in the game and just sitting in the pocket. Run when he have to, slide when he need to. Just look at Russell Wilson.
By the way, these are all things he can be doing right now, by the way. These are all things that he could potentially be doing right now to prepare himself for wherever he goes next year. Learning in this coverage to do this, he's going to have to be much more of a pocket passer, you're thinking?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, that's what they said about Russ. Russ was a scrambler, but, Russ picked it up quick. Like, man, I can't keep scrambling. I'm not going to last long in the league, so I can start sliding if I want to. But Russ has become more of a student and a passer. He wants to pass before he runs. It's just so happen he's able to run. So that's what Cam got to identify and understand. Like, I got to not really necessarily a pocket traditional quarterback, but I got to stop taking these hits because my body is breaking down. Somebody got that kryptonite out there.
You think Lamar Jackson has any hope of lasting long in this league? I mean, it's been awesome to watch here, and the conversation is, well, he's going to take 1 or 2 big shots and it's all going to change. Everybody says, no, he's done this since high school. He's done this in college. He doesn't take big hits. I actually think he does have a good ability of not taking big hits, which some guys have, some guys don't. But I feel like at any given time, this thing could become a tough for Lamar Jackson. Am I accurate with that?
Just sitting in the pocket as a quarterback, at any given time, P-Mac, you could take a hit. If you just look at the quarterbacks who sit in the pocket, the ones who do get injured, man, it's an offensive lineman getting pushed back and they tell ACL they hurt ankle. Just look at Brissett. Yep. Just look at that situation.
That's terrible, yeah.
And at the same time with Lamar Jackson, I don't really see him taking hits. That's what I gotta like about Lamar. Lamar really don't take no hits. P-Mac, he understands and he knows, like, if I keep taking these hits, I'm not gonna last long. Now, they might not like or say it's just one injury away or one hit away because he's flash at what he does. He's smooth at what he does. But at the same time, P-Mac, I don't really see Lamar Jackson taking any hits. He knows how to protect his body.
I agree. And I talked about T.Y. Hilton had this ability. Marvin Harrison had this ability that I just got to see. They have this, they feel when something big's coming and they get down. And at the beginning when you start to do it, everybody's like, oh, they're soft. They could get a couple more yards. But then whenever their durability is up, it's like, oh, this is actually a very intelligent football play.
Hey, the best ability is availability, right? And we all know this, P-Mac, so.
Hey, you can't join the club in the tub, bro. Get out of the training room.
100.
All right, I gotta talk to you tonight about the Pittsburgh Steelers, Cleveland Browns. I mean, this is a big game for both teams. Mason Rudolph, don't let him get hot. But that defense for the Pittsburgh Steelers reminds me of the defense back in the day with you guys. And it's been fun. Now, granted, your guys' defense accomplished a lot more. But early, it seems to have the signs of a defense that can dominate games. How do you feel about the Steelers against the Browns tonight?
Man, that defense looks familiar, right?
Yeah.
Of the 08 defense, right?
Yep.
At the same time, just picture this. Not even draftees. Just on that defensive side, 10 first-rounders.
On yours?
10 first-rounders. If you got a stat guy, Not even the draftees. Just include the draftees and the draft picks the Pittsburgh Steelers got on that defense right now. 10 first-rounders.
That's insane. That is insane to think about. I did not know that. We need a better stat guy.
See, somebody called me the Black Picasso. I got to paint that picture for you.
Stat checks out. They are winning games, though. They are winning games for that team. And Baker's going to struggle, I think.
They bought in, and, a lot of them guys, they in their prime. And Coach T, if you can give the Coach of the Year award right now, it would have to be Coach T, because Coach T literally has been doing more with less. It's a lot of teams that's not doing good with their starting quarterback.
They got 10 first-rounders, Ike. What are you doing more with less? They got 10 first-rounders. Oh, on the defense. You're talking about the offense. That's on me. That's on me. Mason Rudolph starting quarterback. I get it. Yep, that's all. I should backpedal.
And look, Mason was down a couple of games himself. So really, you go into the L.A. Chargers situation on your third-string quarterback and come out with a W.
Yep.
So Coach T and AB gone, Le'Veon gone, Big Ben gone. Like, you got 3 guys who were top 5 in their position. All of them gone. So if somebody wanted to guess their record, it would probably be 1-4, something like that. 1-5 or something, 2-6. But Coach T got them boys playing hot right now. Right now, them boys 5-4, but it starts with that defense. And that trade they got for Magic Minka, I call him Magic Minka.
Oh.
That trade they got for Magic Minka, man, that's Coach Tomlin's personality. Because Coach Tomlin, don't forget, when he was with the Bucks, Rondé Barber was his personality. So he finally got a baby. If you can mix, and I said this right here. And me and my homeboy was talking. Me and my dog was talking, right? I said, Minka is if Troy and Ryan Clark were brothers or something related, Minka's right in the middle.
Got it.
He's right in the middle. That's just what Coach T wants in a secondary guy. That's if he can draw a secondary guy up and draft a secondary guy like that every year, that's his personality. That's his guy right there.
Well, I appreciate you so much for painting that picture for us. I just thought of Ryan Clark and Troy Polamalu fornicating and making babies. That's why you're the Black Picasso. That's why you're the 2-time Super Bowl champion. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you. Ike Taylor. Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, Pete, man.
Yep. Have a good one, dude.
All right, you too, baby.
Yep. Seems like everybody likes to steal it. Anyways, I don't think his broken back is just going to heal up, though.
Yeah, he's tough. I don't think he's that tough. I would sit him for the rest of the year. And can you imagine, let's say Colin Kaepernick's workout goes well. The Detroit Lions sign him. Thanksgiving Day, we got Colin Kaepernick in the Honolulu Blue playing against the Chicago Bears. America's reaction.
It would be a firestorm.
Unbelievable.
And by the way, Thanksgiving is when families come together and talk about things that they hate
Oh,
with
boy.
each other.
I didn't even think of that.
Oh, my God. All you need is just one young to say to one old, it's about time Colin's back in the NFL. Oh, what do you mean?
Get that Kaepernick off my TV.
Yeah, I mean, that is Thanksgiving, by the way. That conversation happens, let alone if Colin Kaepernick is spending Thanksgiving with these families.
Oh.
That is awesome. This is potentially an incredible situation. Now, he's going to have to do a lot for this to happen. Right. Granted, the Lions are going to want to sign him, have to sign him. There's a lot of steps here. He's also going to have to not puke and die in this workout on Saturday. He said he's been preparing for 3 years. We're going to find out. These workouts that teams do with free agents are not easy. I mean, they want to know if you can go right now. Game shape's different than training shape. Chris Johnson told us that a couple weeks ago. Melvin Gordon has said that. The people that sit out of training camp always have a struggle getting back in because game shape's a different thing. If you're Colin Kaepernick, you've been changing the world. You've been the face of a commercial that won a damn Emmy. You've made hundreds of millions of dollars. How hard have you been training knowing that you were potentially getting blackballed from the NFL? So how hard are you training thinking like, I'm probably not going to get back in. I got to be in shape for like photos and stuff like that. How hard have you been training? If he has the drive to maintain game shape, by the way, for the last 3 years, knowing that there was little to no chance of him getting on a team, that says more about Colin Kaepernick to me than anything else. The ability and wherewithal to take a stand for something you believe in, knowing that it's going to cost you a job, that is awesome. Because if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything.
Bingo.
He kneeled for something. Cost him a job, generated an incredible conversation, made a lot of better place, I think. I think the world is shaping in a better way because of it. It made a lot of people angry, though. He potentially disrespected military in a lot of people's eyes, even though he said he didn't want to. That PR spin went out of control, became a polarizing figure. And for me, that's awesome that he did that. But if he was able to maintain game shape for 3 years, knowing you're probably not getting on a team, that is next level. And more power to him. I want to kick balls for the Bears, and my knees were like, nah, dog, we've been chilling for a year and a half. To be a quarterback, you got to run, and especially with Colin Kaepernick, they're going to run the hell out of him, let alone if his arm gets tired. What if they have him throw 120, 150 balls? Yeah. That's a lot of things on your arm if you haven't been doing it. 3 years is a long time, especially when you're 30 plus. I mean, I turned 30, I got hemorrhoids immediately. I turned 30, got 2-week hangovers. I turned 30 and things like that. Colin Kaepernick's now 30 plus. If he's still in game shape, that is something that everybody should be like, you know what? Yeah, this guy's a hard-ass worker, and he's going to be good. And if he ends up, Miami, by the way, another good spot.
I'm going to tell you one that could change the game and save the situation for everyone involved. Bill Belichick and the New England Patriots. You bring in Colin, you let him run scout team practice because Lamar Jackson is the only quarterback who's given you trouble and beaten you this year.
Oh, my God.
You have him
it's going to happen.
You get him for a year. You put a couple packages in for him. He has a couple successful plays. He's a model citizen in practice. He becomes a free agent in the offseason. He's rejuvenated. He's rehabilitated by New England. He goes and signs with any team he wants.
Chicago Bears.
Lamar Jackson is a different animal. How do we put a running back in practice? It's not Colin Kaepernick. It's not Colin Kaepernick.
That is exactly what he would do.
They're going to see him in the playoffs, potentially.
Oh, my God. And that is just, yet again, another example of New England outsmarting everybody. Just for a one-game situation that they know they're going to have to win.
I wouldn't be surprised if this entire workout is being put on by Belichick. The whole thing. Yeah, we don't want to bring them into New England and have them work out because they won't freak out. But if we make the league do it.
Oh, my. That is 100% what it is. Congrats to Colin Kaepernick going to the New England Patriots, probably win the Super Bowl.
Will they drug test him at this, like before? Or if he performs really well, will they drug test him after? Is that part of this workout, you think?
So if he hasn't officially retired, he's been getting drug tested. So he probably already got his annual drug test. If you're a free agent, you still fall into the annual drug test, which is between April 20th, 4/20, and the end of the first week of training camp. I think they test everybody, no matter where you're at. So with that being said, he's had to report his location to the NFL for the last 3 years. Or did they treat him like a retired player and they didn't test him at all? If that's the case, as soon as he gets reinstated after the workout,
he gets tested right away.
He gets tested immediately. For me, whenever I was thinking about going back, I could have worked out without being tested, but whenever they would have went to sign me, I would have been tested that day. Steroids, marijuana, in my particular case. Took a little bit to get out. Hey, can you come work out for us? But would you guys sign me like the next day? You're like, yeah, let's go. We should wait about 20 days. Newsflash. Now you can manscape without the fear, thanks to Manscaped, who is #1 in men's below-the-belt grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. You will feel fearless and fresh with Manscaped line of products. Starting with the Lawnmower 2.0 with proprietary skin-safe technology. This trimmer, let the beat drop, won't nick or snag your nuts. Plus the crop preserver and anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. I mean, why wouldn't you put deodorant on the smelliest part of your body, Zito?
Yep, it is.
It's time to man up and stop using the same trimmer on your face as you use on your balls. That is just nasty. Thanks to Manscaped, manscaping accidents are finally a thing of the past. Feel fearless, feel fresh, and feel fine when you use the right tools for the job this time. Oh, I get it. Those little bars there. Your balls will thank you, and so will your wallet. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AMERICA at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use code AMERICA. Some saying it's the best invention ever created. Trim your balls with this technology that won't nick or snag them. And also it's waterproof, so do it in the shower. Clog up that thing instead of having to mop it up off the floor. We're back on the other side with the segment that everybody loves. People are saying. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. I just got a tweet from a guy. Pat sold out because of my Kaepernick rant from the first hour. Pat sold out. He's different than just a few months ago, and in a few months from now, he'll be a full-blown douche. Come on. Man, I feel like I got past that stage in my life a couple years ago.
I'm pretty sure you've been saying the same thing about Kaepernick for about 3 years.
No. Now that our business is doing better and people are able to actually afford things, I have sold out and I've become a completely different person.
Was this guy racist or what's going on here?
Sure sounds like.
Yeah.
Sure sounds like.
Hey, pal, guess what? Ease up, okay? This isn't the Jim Crow South, all right?
Jeez, Ty. Shout out to that guy and everybody listening. This is the Pat McAfee Show. It is November 14th. We talked about the Colin Kaepernick situation ad nauseum, by the way, because it's a massive story in the world and in the NFL. That could potentially get all buttoned up here this weekend, one way or the other. The NFL is going to say, we gave him an opportunity. Colin Kaepernick's going to say, well, I dominated it. Or he's going to say, they only gave me 3 days to get ready for it. It's going to go one way or the other. I'm excited to watch it all kind of unfold. Also, can't wait to see the videos. I think he's going to get run to death. Now it's time for a segment that people have been clamoring for and sponsors have been trying to throw their money at and have successfully landed. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for People Are Saying.
People are saying.
What are people saying, Ty?
Well, Pat, first and foremost, people are saying that People Are Saying is now sponsored by Manscaped.
Oh, let's go. Hey.
That's right. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with the code AMERICA.
Hey, we like that. What's the best country in the world?
America.
Manscaped.com, promo code AMERICA. Shave your balls. What are people saying?
People are saying, and like I said earlier, a lot of people in Pittsburgh aren't going to like this. I know Ike Taylor didn't agree with it. A lot of people in the interwebs are saying that the Browns are going to beat the hell out of the Steelers tonight.
Come on!
Why are they saying that, Ty?
Well, they're saying Mason Rudolph just isn't really the guy. This defense is primed for a hiccup game. This might be a trap game in Cleveland. Freddie Kitchens, he's fat and in the cold weather. That insulates him, so maybe he is a superhero when we get to these colder months. That's what people are saying. That's not what I'm saying.
That Freddie Kitchens quote sure sounded like it was potentially coming straight from me. Are you sure other people are saying this?
Yeah, I've seen that in quite a few places, actually.
All right. Well, we knew this was going to be a interesting take from the people. Obviously, this is not Ty Schmidt who's saying this.
Nope.
This is what people are saying. So we had to bring in a guy who lives and dies with the Pittsburgh Steelers from Indianapolis, Tone Diggs. Tone, did you hear what Ty – hey, Billy in the back corner there too. Tone, did you hear what Ty just said about your Pittsburgh Steelers going to Cleveland and getting absolute – what'd you say?
Said they're going to get their asses kicked.
Oh, my Diggs, how do you feel?
Yeah, and listen, I know how People Are Saying works because I'm behind the scenes, so I'm not too happy with the box truck right now.
Whoa!
What are you talking about, dude?
Hey! Whoa!
Normally, I'd be worried about cursing the Pittsburgh Steelers with what I'm about to say, like Foxy does the Detroit Lions every single week.
Do it.
But this is Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Cleveland Browns, okay? And also, I heard people saying earlier that this is a rivalry. Is that what I heard earlier? Not a rivalry. Sure, we hate the Cleveland Browns, but this is not a rivalry. The same reason, the same way that Freddie Kitchens versus a buffet is not a rivalry.
What is the deal?
Baker Mayfield versus a you must be this tall to ride this ride is a rivalry.
Oh.
The last 50 years, the Browns have had 17 head coaches. The Steelers have had 3. In the last 13 years, they've had 8 head coaches. They haven't won a playoff game since 1995. The last time they beat the Steelers was 2014. I assumed it was like week 17 the Steelers weren't trying. Also, I assume in 2014 was when Baker was at his 6th college getting tracked down by Paul Blart Mall Cop. Okay?
Whoa!
TJ Watt and Cam Hayward and Bud Dupree aren't going to be able to track down Baker Mayfield, you're out of your mind. If you think that Magic Minka Fitzpatrick is not going to be ball hawking in the secondary when Baker throws some Mickey Mouse force ball to Odell, fine. If you think the 28th ranked defense in the league is going to stop a fully refreshed back in the lineup Jimmy Connor, you're out of your mind. If you think River Rock Freddy is going to be able to come up with a game plan in 3 days, you're out of your mind. Versus a head coach who has never had a losing season. Versus a head coach who's willing to put his body on the line, go on the field, and tackle kick returners. going to be same old little brother, Joe Dirt. Leave him at the Grand Canyon. That's why Dad named you Dirt instead of Nutamaker. Same with Brownies versus the Steelers. Trust me, tonight around, say, midnight, there's going to be a lot of Yinzers driving home in their IROCs. Cowboy Killer in the left hand, Icy Light in the right hand. Driving home from Chauncey's, listening to Donnie Iris, celebrating a big W, and on our way to the playoffs. That's what people are saying.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Dick, that was absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful, Diggs. I feel like you truly believe all that, too, by the way. That
Ew.
Cowboy Killer, is that a Pall Mall?
No, that's the old Marlboro Reds.
Hey, we were in a casino in Pittsburgh last night. Diggs, you would love this.
A lot of ciggies.
Every third human was smoking. And I said, well, it's 2019. Is it not time to put away the squares around here? And the dealer goes, oh, you're in the smoking section. And I asked her, I'm like, well, where's the non-smoking? It's a closet in the corner. It's a little tiny, it's a box truck that they have as the non-smoking section. Everything else. The Cowboy Killer is still alive and well, very much in the degenerate community here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I mean, when you go back to Pittsburgh, I mean, we're not exactly up to times with everything. There's a lot of people still rocking 80s hairbands, DVE, sweatshirts, and things of that nature. But, you know, that's just what we got to deal with. That's just part of the city.
And that's why you think tonight you get the hammer out and you swing it as hard as you possibly can on
Pittsburgh Steelers, because it's the same old Brownies.
Diggs, incredible monologue there. Also, FanDuel right now has a plus 1,000 bet that the defense is going to win or going to score a touchdown. How do you feel about that bet? That seems like a lock.
I think T.J. Watt to score a touchdown is almost a guarantee. A lot of people talk about Minka, but if I were to give a team defensive MVP, it's probably T.J. Watt. If just personally.
How about the Watt brothers? By the way, same birth canal, same production on the football field. Incredible, those two.
Just to imagine what that dad eats for breakfast. Probably nails.
All right, we got to get to a break. Ladies and gentlemen, that was. You get it. People are saying, great work, Diggs. Appreciate you for joining us. Ty Schmidt, it sounds like the people could potentially be wrong. You said a lot of things in there, by the way. Took shots at both sides. The people said that, though, not you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm just reporting what the people are saying.
Hey, how about a little kayfabe, too, Diggs, huh?
River Rock Freddy, I like that, though.
Bro, he had like 6, 7 good ones in there.
He did. Freddie Kitchens against Buffet as a rivalry.
Oh, he was on a run, dude. 11:27, we'll be back on the other side. That's Eastern Standard Time because that's where we are right now. Wherever you may be, you're the absolute best. Let's close this one out in a beautiful fashion. You're listening to the Pat McAfee Show. Welcome back to the Pat McAfee Show. We're live in a box truck in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's Thursday, November 14th. Wrapping up the last half hour here. Brandon Flowers, corner for Chiefs and Chargers, will be joining us here. I checked out his Twitter. It says his home is London town. If he's over in England, I'm excited to chat with him about that. Also, going to talk to him about the 17-game season that is going to happen in the NFL next season, I believe. I've been on this train for a long time. Some would argue the first person on the train. Toot, 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 my own horn. I said, the NFL wants 18 games. The NFLPA says, no, we can't do any more games because of how banged up we are. I said, well, why don't we do good business? Why don't we extend the hand? Reaching out.
Touching
Me.
Touching you,
Sweet Caroline.
Ba, ba, ba.
So I figured a good business. If one wants 18, one wants 16, we've all seen Pawn Stars. Let's agree at 17. That was just common sense. I was the first person, I think, to say it publicly, but now everybody's on side. I assume the big brains that are in negotiations have already thought about this. A 17-game NFL season is becoming more and more likely, is what's coming out of these CBA negotiations that are soon to be wrapped up, is what we've been told. Last time when the CBA went into negotiation, there was a lockout, which is much different than a strike. We wanted to go to work. The owner said, nah, don't come. We got some things we would like to negotiate with you boys. Those things included revenue sharing, drug testing, the length of schedule, off-season workouts, you name it. The things that have allegedly ruined football in a lot of the old heads' eyes. Not as much practice time, can't do 3-a-days anymore. You have to have a nutritionist. All the stuff that a lot of people have said make the NFL a softer league was all a part of that last CBA negotiation. It ran almost up to training camp. We had no spring. We had no off-season workouts. We weren't allowed to go to work. They locked the door out. I was right in the middle of my time in the substance of abuse policy where I was getting drug tested 8 times a month for an alleged incident that happened on October 20th, 2010. I was getting tested 8 times a month, couldn't even have alcohol, couldn't even look at alcohol. If there was a picture of me with alcohol, I was fined on the spot immediately. 8 times a month I was tested. I had to report to them like I had a PO every time I left Indianapolis, Indiana, where I was going, where I was staying, and 2 phone numbers they could reach me at. I went hunting for Bigfoot down in Georgia with a deaf guy. They drug tested me at 4:30 in the morning in the middle of the hills of Georgia at a Motel 8 bathroom. I was drug tested everywhere. Then when the lockout came, guess what we don't have anymore? We don't have a substance of abuse policy anymore. We don't have drug tests 8 times a month. We don't have any of that. You're free, they said to me. I said, well, damn. I'm going to go on a bender here. It can't be that long of a lockout. Turns out it was. It was a very long one. I played for the Columbus Crew like the first week or so of that lockout, realized that I wasn't nowhere near in the shape I should have been to be on a soccer field, could barely get out of bed, got a call from a third-party person that said, hey, Pat, this lockout isn't going to last forever. If you get hurt playing soccer, you're going to regret that for the rest of your life. You're right. So I stopped, and I decided the move was I'm going to go on a bender now. Now's the time for me to get everything in me that I need, because as soon as the season starts back up, I have another 1.5 years of 8 tests a month. It's like whenever you're eating or like going into a fast and you just try to eat so much that your body doesn't want any more food, that your body's just at a point where it's like, I'm going to do as much as I can so I don't want it for the next 1.5 years. That's what I said I was going to do during this lockout. So I went after it. 10 days became 20. 20 became 50. 50 became 100 some days. I almost died out there, but I made a promise to myself that I was going to go till I can't no mo. And if you ask any vet who had actual money in the bank account, not the younger people who were going broke because of the lockout, not the people who had didn't buy the Cobra insurance like we were told to do for 2 years, those people hated the lockout, needed the checks, needed to get back. Even though they told us to prepare for a lockout for years, save your money, all that stuff, there's people that didn't, and they hated the lockout. You ask anybody who, like, saved money a little bit and had no debt and things like that, That lockout was awesome. I was looking for that lockout every offseason. Are we going to have a lockout every single offseason? This is beautiful. Obviously, for business, you don't want to get to that point. And for this CBA, I think both sides realized the lockout wasn't good for business on either side. So now they've been negotiating. DeMaurice Smith and Roger Goodell, two people that have very little in common, have come to find a common ground to make sure that the NFL remains the greatest league of all time. They said that deal is near done, which would be early, by the way. And when you're negotiating billions and billions of dollars to get a deal done early is something that should be commended for both sides. Now, who won the negotiation? Let's assume that the NFL won. The NFL has 32 billionaires. They have all the best lawyers on earth. They're making all of the monies from everywhere. Let's assume that they out-negotiated the NFLPA's lawyers, who are talented, but they're not being paid by 32 billionaires. They're being paid by like 1,000 or so rich guys who aren't really paying that much. They're just getting money taken. It's an interesting thing. It's like when you walk into Pawn Stars, you know Rick's going to get you. You know you're going to lose. That's kind of what happens with the NFLPA negotiating with the NFL. But it seems as if both sides have realized that we need each other in this thing. Hey, we need each other in this thing. The 17-game season is one that they said is probably going to happen. This is good for football. This is more game for football. I would argue that you have to have another bye week. So now you have 19 weeks of football, regular season football to make money off of, to televise, to sell out stadiums. People say, well, with a 17-game schedule, how are the schedulers going to set that up? I think there's one neutral site game for every single team. I think you should get creative with that. Whether it's a college stadium, why not a big-ass high school stadium? I think that would be an absolutely incredibly cool thing. Sell out Michigan, the big house, 100,000. Get the Patriots up there, Tom Brady from Michigan, have them play against somebody else that has maybe, who's Michigan State's biggest football player?
Kirk Cousins.
Okay, so have the Patriots and Vikings at the big house. I would assume you'd be able to get people there and travel there. That'd be an awesome thing. Have more overseas games. Maybe have a game down in Australia. Australia's starting to create real NFL talent. Almost a quarter at this point, almost maybe a third of the punters in the NFL have incredible accents and come from down under. And this football is like their third sport they've played. Why not have a game down there? I think they can get very creative. Add another bye week so that the boys can rest another week. And although it is a struggle to get through a 17-week schedule, 16 games in 17 weeks, I think if the money rises and they get another week rest and everything else like that, I think that's a good negotiation. I'm happy the NFL is on that side, and I'm excited to watch it all kind of play out. Will 17 become 18 in the next CBA? I don't know. There is conversation that they want to expand the playoff system. I don't want that. I think the playoffs are good how they are. Win your division, 2 wild cards, bang, you're in. That's how it should be.
It's absolutely perfect right now. Unless you're expanding teams, there's no reason to add more teams to the playoffs.
The only reason why you would add playoffs is because the amount of money that you make off TV and everything's primetime television. Now, granted, for a player's side, you don't get your normal salary. You actually get, everybody gets a set amount. A lot of people are taking big-time pay cuts to play in the playoffs, but when it gets to the playoffs, it's not about the paycheck. It's about the team making a run, do something legendary.
Amen.
So if you're the NFL, you'd obviously want to expand the playoffs. You have to pay players less, and you get more money from primetime television. That's a smart thing, but I'm assuming that's going to have to happen in a negotiation. See how it goes. Joining me now is a man who played in the NFL a long time. He was a Chief and a Charger, cornerback, Pro Bowler, Brandon Flowers. Brandon Flowers.
Hey, what's going on?
Thanks
for having me.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us. I read your Twitter account. It said you're in London. Are you in London, England right now?
I'm not in London, England. I just like to throw people off guard. I'm just that random guy that just put random things on his Twitter, so I'm definitely not in London.
I enjoy that. That is such a hilarious little troll. Everybody thinks this man's an international man of mystery just hanging out in
Delray Beach, Florida.
Good for you. Okay, well, I appreciate you for joining us. The 17-game schedule is going to be one that's going to be talked about coming out of the CBA. It's going to be the biggest difference maker. There's going to be a lot of business decisions that are made that people will cover, but they won't really understand because it's numbers that are so large. The 17-game schedule is going to be one that people are going to talk about, though. How do you feel about it as a corner that played in the NFL a long time? Do you think both sides are winning here if the money's raised? And do you think players will be able to make it through a 17-game season on a regular basis?
I definitely don't think players will be able to make it through 17 games on a regular basis. I mean, what would one game extra added to the schedule? What would that do? What would that prove? If you can't prove your worth in a playoff picture in 16 games, I don't think one extra game would be a big difference. So I don't see where that'll help on a player standpoint. But, everything's a business. The NFL wants definitely another game on that TV contract to bring more millions, to their pocket. So that's all that's about.
Well, I think, by the way, more millions in the pocket of the owners, if negotiated properly, more millions, hopefully, and more money in pockets of players. You think 17, though, is too many games? Because it is a struggle at the end of the season to see what teams have left. Everybody says, are they the best team? No, but they're the most healthy team, so they have a chance to run. You think one more extra week could only add to that?
Yeah, I think just one more week of just getting your body bruised and banged up, your hamstrings getting tightened, and I know you say that'd be more players and more money in players' pockets. I don't think the GMs and owners will play players more, man. I just think they'll say contract salaries can go up, but I don't think players will get paid more. What would you do? Add a couple $100,000 to their contract? I just don't think it'll happen. I just think it'll just be in the owners and the general manager's pockets.
That's so interesting to think about, because if they just build to the salary cap because of an extra game, that money will just go to the quarterbacks, just like everything else. That'd be so.
That's all it'll be. Quarterbacks get paid more money, maybe a left tackle. That's it.
That would be so interesting. All right, let's pivot. Corners back in the day were the most sought-after position in football. I mean, it was Darrelle Revis. You saw him break the bank on numerous occasions. Now, Jalen Ramsey, big trade. Aqib Talib, big trade. Marcus Peters, big trade. Corners are becoming almost something where you don't hear about as many primetime corners anymore. Why is that whenever we're in a very big passing league? Is it more team defense, or is there still lockdown guys out there that should be paid a gross amount of money?
There's lockdown guys out there, but offensive coordinators won't allow cornerbacks to be lockdown guys. I think because it's a passing league now, coordinators got smarter and put these guys that play the opposite side of the ball in position to get pick routes and rub routes, so guys can't just hone in and lock in on their receiver. It's more of a scheme. So you need to pay your whole defense now. You can't be worrying about paying one-time prime-time corner because Deion Sanders, like you said, Darrelle Revis locked down one side of the field. That's not going to happen anymore. Teams are going to bunch their guys up, try to rub each other off, and now it's just more you got to have a good scheme to win games.
Well, when guys try to rub each other off, I mean, that's when you run into real problems, Brandon Flowers, That's when real magic starts happening. Right now, in your eyes, there's a lot of great defenses in the NFL right now. It's surprising because it was such an offense-driven league for a long time that right now defenses have almost been stealing the show. Tonight, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense have been winning them games. They have 10 first-round picks. The New England Patriots defense, unbelievable. Niners defense, damn good. It feels like defense is almost becoming a much more prevalent part of the game.
Defense wins championships, and you don't realize it until the playoffs come. I'm glad it's being shown in the regular season now, because when the playoffs get going, and that's when the money really counts, defense and running backs, everybody likes to devalue running backs during the regular season, but you got to have a good run game in the playoffs. So that's when the team game comes to the forefront. And I like that the defense is getting their respect due right now, because when the playoffs come, that's when you championships.
Okay, tonight, Minkah Fitzpatrick has the chance to set even more records for the amount of touchdowns he scored on the defensive side of the ball. Is Minkah the next big name for NFL defense? Is this going to sustain, or is this just a, hey, new city, new strategy, new scheme, teams are going to figure it out? Or do you think Minkah is going to be a game changer, a la Troy Polamalu was here in Pittsburgh for time to come?
I think the culture he went into in Pittsburgh, he embraces it. Miami, every culture in the locker room is different. I think Pittsburgh welcomed them with open arms. They're playing them in the right position. They're letting them roam. They're letting them play safety rather than just a nickel back that Miami had them playing in. And I just think he has some fun, making plays, roaming the field out there. I just think he's in the right position, and Pittsburgh knows his access to the defense, and just let him go out there and roam. He's making plays. He's definitely going to continue to make plays. He's going to be a cornerstone for that defense for years to come.
You were a Pro Bowler. You tackled 487 humans as a corner. That's a lot of tackles. You played in the league a long time. You're a member of the San Diego Chargers, now the Los Angeles Chargers. Were you there when they were in L.A.?
I left right before they went to L.A., so I didn't get a chance to enjoy that L.A. vibe.
Okay, what do you think the Chargers' future is? Now, it came out that there's a chance they were going to be joining you in London on your Twitter. Then Spanos family came out and said, no. Tom Telesco spoke to the team. Was like, this is not true. But everybody knows that thus far, the Los Angeles Chargers experiment has not worked. Even if the Chargers were successful last year, which they were, even if they go on a run, it seems like they got a very big uphill road in Los Angeles. Do you agree?
I agree. I just feel like Los Angeles isn't the Chargers' home. I feel like because they left San Diego don't even want to welcome them back. I just think they're a team that needs to find a new location, whether it's like in a random city like San Antonio or Oklahoma City that just needs football and needs a fan base. It's not going to work for the Chargers. I just feel like they don't have a home in the NFL now that has diehard fans. So they just have to find another home base.
How do you think the Raiders are going to do when they go to Vegas? I assumed on this show there was going to be a lot of, like the LA Chargers games are, a lot of away teams, a lot of away fans that make a trip out of it. I'm going to go to Vegas. I'm going to watch my team play the Raiders. I've been getting a lot of tweets from Las Vegas residents, so they're like, no, this is going to be our team. We've been waiting for an NFL. Do you see it happening like that?
Oakland travels well. Oakland have a nice fan base, so I think Oakland will definitely show up in Las Vegas. But they will also have a lot of visiting fans because a lot of visiting teams like to catch 2 games a year to catch their favorite teams playing. Why not enjoy a weekend in Vegas and catch your team play? So, ticket sales are going to be throughout the roof, but I think Oakland is definitely going to show up. Oakland is one of those fan bases like Dallas, Pittsburgh, that's definitely going to go wherever their team goes.
Green Bay as well. Shout out to Green Bay. You guys get a little bit of love back there. There's going to be a lot of empty seats, I think, first half of those Steelers or those away games in Las Vegas, though.
Why do you think there's going to be a lot of empty seats first half?
Well, Saturday night becomes Sunday morning, becomes Sunday afternoon in Vegas. We all know that.
That's what Oakland is used to. Oakland pregame in the parking lot, they're used to that, man. They just hobble itself in the stadium, and that's just, they catch their second win once they get in the stadium. That's what they used to in Oakland.
What type of player were you? Did you talk a lot on the field, or were you quiet?
It depends on who I played. I talked a lot against younger guys because those are guys that feel like they need to challenge you and they have something to prove. But when you go against guys like Larry Fitzgerald, who's just a guy that doesn't say anything, you'll talk trash for maybe 2 minutes. And it feel like you're talking to a wall, so you start feeling crazy, feeling like I'm talking to myself out here. So most veterans is like, hey, let's get through the game. I'm going to do my thing, you do your thing, and let's just get out of here. It depends on who you play.
Is that an actual conversation, or is that just an unwritten thing that everybody's like, hey, we're here to work. What are we talking for?
It's an unwritten thing. You have receivers like Steve Smith, with corners like myself that like to get involved with the run game. He'll come up to you and say, hey, this is going to be a long game when you try to get involved in a run game. When I'm going to have to block you to the whistle, or just let me push you out to play. And I'll let them know this is going to be a long game. We got to go at it. I like to tackle. I like to go at it. So let's just go. So, once you get on the field, most receivers will have their little rituals that they do to let you know what kind of game it'll be.
That's a hilarious thought. Like, how they touch gloves beforehand? Like, first play, it's like, are you going to be doing this all game? Yeah, it's going to be a long day. All right, well, let me strap this thing up then. All right, I wasn't planning on this. That's a beautiful thing. Hey, do you ever get into any fights on the field?
I got into a few fights. I have a knack of, I like being physical. So when I feel like a receiver trying to block me too long, I just take that personal because I'm a little guy. I'm 5'9". Maybe that's a little man syndrome that kick in. I just feel like they're trying to bully me on the field. So whenever I'm thinking they're trying to block me a little too hard, I'll take it past the whistle a little bit. It's all right. It's nothing but a flag will get thrown.
But you set the tone for the rest of the game.
Definitely. You got to let them know you hit them stay.
That's quite an alpha move. All right, before we get out of here, who are your favorites in the AFC and the NFC?
In the AFC, I got to go Baltimore. Baltimore and New England. You can't count New England out, but Baltimore, man, their defense have a lot of veterans on that back end. And I think the game is going to be this is AFC Championship. I'm thinking it's going to be Baltimore and New England.
Hey, how important is that? How important is the back end being a veteran? They're kind of setting everything up, right? That's something that doesn't get talked about a lot.
Definitely, because even when you want to do combination coverages, which you will have to do against guys like New England and trick Tom Brady and show him things you never shown him before on film, guys who've been in multiple systems, they know how to pick up things. When you have a rookie out there, you might have to just tell them, just worry about your man, and that's it. When you have a veteran back in, like, Tony Jefferson, you have Brandon Carr, and even Marcus Peters is a veteran right now. Those guys can talk and do combo coverages to confuse the quarterback and show them things that they never seen before. So Baltimore defense is going to get them playing in a big game this year.
And in the NFC, you have?
NFC, I'm gonna go with. I gotta go with Seattle.
Really?
Those guys that always fly under the radar. Russell Wilson is the most unappreciated guy in the NFL, but he finds a way to get it done year in, year out, man, making that playoff run. Everybody else in the NFC, I think, can have that game where they can play good, but they can have that game where they lay a turd right now. You know, San Francisco's playing well, but they haven't been to the playoffs with this, with this group in a while. So I just think Seattle is the more accomplished team, being there before, so I think they'll get it done.
There's a Super Bowl champion, a couple of them in the NFC, they'll be like, hey, what about us? Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, you don't like the Packers or the Saints?
I don't like the Packers for some reason. I think the Packers are going to I think the Packers defense won't hold up. I think Aaron Rodgers will play well because he always play well. I think it's going to be the Packers defense who's going to let them down in the playoffs. And then Drew Brees is just some reason, for these past couple of years, there's been one thing or another that haven't allowed him to play in a big game. I think that's going to continue.
The Minneapolis Miracle, then the pass interference heard round the world. I can't thank you enough, Brandon. You are absolutely incredible. Pro Bowler, member of the Chiefs and the Chargers, corner in Electric Factory. I appreciate you, ladies and gentlemen. Brandon Flowers. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Appreciate you, Pat.
Yeah, have a good one. Hey, he was good. He was really good. I'm happy for him. Kind of turded on the Packers there, Ty.
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong, though. That defense needs to shore up big time. Otherwise, they're not going anywhere.
Well, you're an owner of the team. Why don't you get that thing fixed?
Well, I tried. We spent a lot of money in this offseason on some pass rushers. We still got a lot of young guys in the back end, so we'll see. I mean, big players come out and play in big situations. So.
I have been saying 32 billionaires. The world has reminded me it's only 31 billionaires. And then a collection of humans from Green Bay and across the globe that absolutely love their Packers and Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, and you know what? After watching that Monday night game, I'm still not so sure that the Packers aren't the best team in the NFC. I think they can beat anyone. Their best, I think, is just as good, if not better, than anyone else's best.
And their offense is Matt LaFlourishing with Aaron Rodgers getting hot with Aaron Jones. The NFC is going to be a good one. Big shout out to Brandon Flowers, Ike Taylor, everybody that listened and watched today. You're the absolute best. We covered Kaepernick. We covered the 17-game NFL season. We covered Matt Stafford's broken back, Cam Newton. You name it. We talked about it. That's what we do here. And we go to Elton John concerts. Ain't that right, Foxy?
Yes, sir.
If you get a chance to go, you should definitely see him just like us. We saw that Elton John concert.
Fantastic.
Did we hear him sing, Foxy?
Yes, sir.
Is anybody getting sucked?
Come on! Thanks for listening. This has been the Pat McAfee, almost an FCC free show. Jeez.
Oh, come on.
Thank you, Don.
Diamond Don.
Yep, back in Indy tomorrow.